Hey guys, it's SuperMarioPlushParty here, and I am doing a new type of video on my channel today. I'm doing a review, and I never really do reviews of anything on my channel, so I thought it would be the perfect time to review Super Mario Ian's new movie, Super Mario Ian Movie 2, because it just came out and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was super good, so I'm gonna do a quick little review of this. And guys, before I start, I want to let you know that if you haven't watched it yet, I will have a link probably somewhere on the screen for you to click to go watch it, or in the description. And I also want you to make sure that to know that there will be spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled on the movie, please go watch it first. I don't want to ruin it for you. So go ahead and go watch it if you haven't, and if you already have, then stick around and I will be talking about the movie. Okay, so this is Super Mario Ian the Movie 2. Alright guys, so I thought that this movie started off very strong. We have Daisy going back in time, and she's stopping everything that went wrong in the first movie. She prevents it from happening, and this is kind of how we're thrown into things. We already have kind of a lot of action from the very beginning, and it's a good way to start the movie, in my opinion. Now, one thing that I thought was interesting was that when we are, after this, we have a lot of rising action in the terms of bad things happening to Daisy after she just did this good deed. And, it's sad, but in real life, things happen for a reason, and yada yada yada. So I thought it was good that Ian chose Daisy for a villain. There was obviously a lot of explanation behind why, she became evil. She did so much for Mario and Peach, nobody ever acknowledged it. Luigi cheated on her, she's upset about the baby, she's jealous, and Grandpa Toad's dead. There are so many things going wrong for this girl, and, it's just really bad. But she does eventually snap, she turns evil, and it goes good for pretty much no one, So, it is very sad to watch this happen to someone, and it was just, Daisy's one of my favorite characters, and it just made me sad to see this a little bit. One thing that was interesting, though, is that he even chose Daisy, because not a lot of people would consider Daisy for a villain character. She's kind of just like either a damsel in distress, or she's kind of just like a background character in most features, or she's just like Luigi's girlfriend. That's all she does. So this was very interesting to see her in a position of power, and to see her, fighting Mario and Peach. Those are like her closest friends, and she's turning against them. So that was a very unique take on Daisy, and I really enjoyed seeing it. And so, oh, sorry. Okay, so we have that going on. She starts off her little wicked plot by gaining powers from Kamek the Wise. And this is, understandable, because it's just Daisy, she's just a princess, and she needs some kind of power. She is very savage, I will say that. She's like, no, I can. And then she's just, every scene with Daisy, is kind of very suspenseful, because you don't know what she's going to do. There's a scene here where she's walking in the hallway, the lights are flashing, the music is building up, you're anticipating something to happen. And this is just such a good scene. I have the door creaking, and it's just really good. I love this scene. It is very suspenseful. You did a good job, Ian, right here. Now, we get to watch the worst happen. Well, not the worst, but we get to watch like the first two deaths of the film, and she goes ham on Toadette. Ham and cheese. Toadette is dead. And then right back to back, Luigi is gonna pay for cheating. So we obviously know that she's taking the villain role very seriously. This isn't a joke. And she goes throughout the entire film, she's almost targeting someone or attacking them. She's sending person after person after Mario and Peach, and she's killing anyone or anything that might get in her way. And personally, I think the villain was very strong. You did a good job writing the villain character. You did a good job with everything. You know, she wasn't one of those villains that was kind of just all talk. She was very prevalent throughout the film. You know, she was there. You knew that all of this was because of her, and she wasn't kind of just like a minor threat. She was a major threat. So you did a good job. One thing that I thought was very good was that you did some good choices on your audio. The music was usually always very fitting to the scene, to what was happening. You did have a lot of good sound effects. However, I feel like you may have used some sound effects too often, and it might have hurt, you know, how effective a scene is. If you keep using the same punching sound effect, if you keep using the same gun sound effect over and over again, the more you use that sound effect, the less it's going to bring to your scene. So when you're choosing sound effects for your movie, make sure you choose sound effects that not only fit what is supposed to be happening, but make sure you don't overuse them because they can lose their effect. So I do commend you on your audio choices, but next time be sure to make sure that you limit, you know, what you're doing. But honestly, overall, I thought it was good, and you overall just did a wonderful job on that. So good job. So we have this fog thing running around, and it's very scary. You did a good job filming it and making it look creepy, and it's honestly very scary. I didn't know what this plush was until you told me, so I was like, oh yeah, it's scary. And again, we have the safety, and then for maybe a minute, and then it's just followed by like another half hour of like complete devastation. So this film is very violent, and it is very sad, but everything in the film happens for a reason. Hey. It's not just like a major bloodbath, you know? People aren't dying left and right for no reason. They're dying because Daisy wants Mario, and anyone that gets in her way will be destroyed. What? So I like this a lot compared to the first movie, because in the first movie a lot of people just died for no reason, and it was kind of weird. But this movie, very good in terms of ambition, and everything pretty much is explained or has a reason, so it's very straightforward, and I appreciate that as a viewer. You know, it helps me. And honestly, I didn't really have a problem with the filming. I thought almost every scene was filmed in a way that made it very compelling to watch. The camera angles at some points were a little awkward, such as there was an example, you zoomed in on like a Goomba, and I honestly thought you should have faded to black there, and then you zoomed into like a piece of wood, and I was like, what's going on, you know? But personally, I thought you should have just faded into black, or
ready, Mario?
Whatever, to fix that. So do know that you should probably work on that a little bit. And there was a point in the plot where after Mario had escaped from the fog thing, the baby was not mentioned, and the baby was not mentioned for a good 15 minutes until Rosalina shows back up, and Mario's like, where's the baby? And she's like, oh, I have him in the Star Nursery. Like, why were you not thinking about the baby for a good 20 minutes? Like, oh my lord. So that was something that maybe when you're writing your next script, you should work on making sure everything stays in the plot and everything is relevant, and nothing just like disappears and then becomes a problem again 20 minutes later because you forgot about it, you know? Personally, I thought all of your fighting scenes were very well performed. The choreography, if you will, was done very well. Everything looked nice. The fighting scenes weren't too slow, they weren't too fast, and it wasn't just a whole bunch of like 30 minutes of like punching back and forth. It was actually like cuts of different things happening, and I loved it. It was very action-packed. You know, every fight scene was a good fight scene, in my opinion. So you did a good job, and it was just so well put together. So I commend you on that. So, in my opinion, if I could give this movie a rating on a number scale, I'd probably give it an 8.5 out of 10, and that's pretty good. Now, I gave you an 8.5 because obviously there were some things with the camera angle, there were some things with the sound effects that could have been fixed, but overall do know that your movie was very good. I enjoyed it. You know, usually when you sit and watch something for an hour and 20 minutes, you might get tired of it, or you might, you know, leave and come back to it. But I honestly watched the entire thing, and I thought it was so good. And you did a good job. I really liked the plot and the story. You did a good job. I know it did take a lot of time to put this together, so I put that into consideration. And you just did so great. So give yourself a pat on the back because I thought this was a good movie. Okay? So,
over, Daisy.
oh, one last thing I want to talk about is you have some visual effects throughout the film. I know that not everyone has the same availability to editing software, or they're not as experienced. Personally, I thought that, like, when you're showing the portal, or the magic mirror, for example, the little squares of video on top of the actual video, it wasn't very flattering for the film, and I don't know if it was due to lack of experience or what, but those could have been improved. But at the same time, I'm not gonna like penalize you for that because not everyone has the same skill level. So do know that if you try to do effects, you should practice a little bit, in my opinion. But for the most part, all of the transitions were good. For the pretty much everything was just good, so you did a really good job, Ian, and hopefully I actually get to be in the next one. I was supposed to be Rosalina in this, but I had some mic issues and I've been very busy, so just good job, man. This is super good, and wow, you know, it was great. I definitely like this one better than the first movie. It was honestly one of the best things I've watched on YouTube in a long time, because a lot of people now just like copy each other, and that's gross. So I am gonna go, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure that if you liked what you saw, to let Ian know, and if you haven't watched the film, even though I told you to go watch it because there would be spoilers in the beginning, make sure to go watch it, please. Give him all the support because this was such a good film, and leave any advice that you think he should follow. So I'm going to go, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Ian, for providing us with this film. It was so good. Thank you, guys. This is Super Mario Plush Party signing out.